Okay, you guys, so I am here. I have my lovely doll for demo with me today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some seating options. So seating for play or seating for feeding when it's appropriate. And it's taking me a little while to put this up just because it's been kind of crazy. But I'm finally able to do that because I have a couple options with me, and I'll talk a little bit about before, so age-wise before, how you can build the hip strength and stability, and then also when it's more appropriate for them to be sitting, and just thinking about those types of seating choices. So options for baby that are best for hip development, trunk development, and also allow for play and fine motor exploration. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Boppy, which is not to be confused with the Bumbo, but it's the Boppy. It's a pillow. It's very convenient since you probably already have something like it or the exact type of pillow for breastfeeding or feeding in general. And it's this guy. So it's basically a C-shaped pillow with kind of an opening here. And if your little one is old enough that you have already seen them sit for maybe 2 to 3 seconds by themselves, so probably around that 5-ish month mark, or they're able to sit with you pretty well, then this is a nice option. If you're close to them, you can put them in the middle. And I don't know if you can kind of see that, but you can put them so that their hips are relatively in the middle and their arms are kind of using the pillow as support. Their legs are more or less straight, a little bit widened out, separated if you can, but ideally they're sitting, you're close by for supervision, because this is not a great seat for just letting them sit there for like minutes at a time. But the biggest thing is that you're letting them practice some of that trunk control here with the amount of support that's next to them. Okay, so that's an option that you probably already likely have. That's my favorite option, something you already have, something that's fairly safe for them. And again, this would be closer to that 5 to 6 month range, or if they're a little earlier, you were right there. So you're just not letting them fall over or tip over too much. So that's option one. Put it to the side. And this is the other option I have, and it's called the Upseat. So it's a firm plastic seating system, and one of the 2 biggest reasons I like it is the hip area is nice and wide, nice and open, and the legs are nice and open. So for kids, for babies at this stage, I want something that allows their feet, their knees, their hips, lots of movement. Kind of like with the Boppy or a pillow, they still have some movement. So that's because their hips are developing. And the way our bones develop is by having the muscles pull on them or having gravity put some pressure through there. And that's how you develop those joints. So this one is something you'd have to, go out and buy. Great to put on a registry, very easy to put on a registry. I know the Bumbo, B-U-M-B-O, is often put on a registry, but honestly, this is gonna be a better seat for your kid. And I typically try to shy away from, using that as something to talk about with families, because it is what you have that's most helpful. But this, honestly, if you have a Bumbo, return it. Like, it's just not worth it to you. Get something like Upseat. Easiest thing to do is just Google it, and I'll show you why. So for baby, you can still buckle them in. Really easy to adjust the buckle. This little baby is like really tiny because it's a baby doll. But you have so much more room here And you also have, that's better angle, more trunk, upper trunk control. So a lot of times we talk about if we sit and we're tired, we come home from a day of work, we sit on the couch and we're real slumped. We're really far back here. So like this. So we're really far back like this. We don't want that for babies either. We want their pelvis, their trunk, their belly button to be up. That is what this allows. It's kind of tricky to see, but on their website, and then also in their bigger kid booster seat, which doesn't have this part, but it has just the part on the bottom for like a 2 to 3 year old and above, it gets their pelvis nice and forward. So again, my second option, if you're graduating from the Boppy, you want them to do more fine motor, you want them to be sitting at the table with you on a chair, not on the table, is the Upseat. So it's UPSEAT right there, and it's hip development that's going to be helpful for them, and it's trunk development too. So just like most other booster seats, play seats, I just like to call them play seats because that's what they're used for. I'm not trying to accelerate a kid and try to have them sit if they're in a seat like this. This is not going to teach them how to sit. It's going to help them while they're learning how to sit, is this guy. So the tray, you can still see has room here for baby. Their legs aren't sticking straight out. Their feet are able to kind of come to the ground. They're able to move around a little bit, shift around. They're still safe here. And they have this tray, which is what I typically use like a high chair for, something for feeding or play, and they can use their tray for all of those activities. So to be honest, for my own kid, what I used was the high chair. So we used a tiny little camping chair if we were out somewhere where we couldn't take the high chair with us, and it allowed him to sit and get his feet onto the ground. But other than that, we didn't use a seating apparatus or seating booster seat for play. We just used it for feeding. Most of the time if we were doing fine motor stuff, we were right with him, and so we were able to help him, like sit him up, and he was looking at books, etc. So those are my two big recommendations, and it's this one right here. The Upseat is going to be the better graduated version for you and baby to play. So I'm going to show you. We're going to take baby out of here. Going to show you why a lot of things that are more similar to the Bumba are out on the market. This is a sit me up chair. Super common to get. This is the biggest challenge that I have, besides putting the baby in, is this. This doesn't sit. So even if I put it up on here, it doesn't reach the ground. It's not firm. There's no way for the baby to really understand where their body is in space, where the hips are in space, without touching the ground. They have to have that feedback. That's how our body works. So this is another common one that's on the registry a lot. It's easily accessible. If you're getting groceries at Target, you see it and you think, well, I should get that for a baby. Just order the Upseat. It's just as fast, promise you. So baby can seem happy, can seem in, but a lot of times the head position too is really far back. Their feet are just straight. Their feet are just kind of dangling. They're basically dangling. So if you think about if you were in a hammock, is that really going to strengthen your muscles, help with your hip development? It's comfortable, but so are like baby slings and something where you can wear the baby. You don't want them to be doing that while they are trying to learn. So the easiest thing, this is what I wouldn't recommend this. In summary, my two biggest recommendations are the Upseat and your tried and true Boppy or breastfeeding pillow. All right, you guys, thank you for listening If you have more questions about seating or anything like that, I will probably do some more little short videos, but I got to get back to work. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can always direct message me or email me if you're in the Las Vegas area. I'm happy to talk to you about kind of what your certain situation is for your baby and what milestones you're wanting them to reach. All right. Have a good day.